How to boost your happiness. Very important. This is your life coach. How are you doing? Happiness is a thing, some have it more than others. And when you can reach, that you say your happiness is over the 50, 60%, you're doing a pretty good job. And you have happiness what you show, often that is fake, and then you have the real happiness. And the real happiness is here, not what you try to show. Huh? Hello, how you doing? And you think by yourself, terrible person. Is that happiness? Well, the person who sees you thinks, hey, you're happy, you say hello, he says, or she says hello, and yeah, that's the perception, is that you're happy. In reality, you have something like, gosh, did I see that person today? Yeah, don't need that. So this is, it's good that people don't feel what you have inside. Although feeling, there are people who really can feel very good what other people feel and really are empath. I'm a little bit empathic, and I can feel pretty good what people really mean, really feel. I'm very happy with that I'm like that, because you can anticipate on it and try not to hurt people, try to create a relaxed ambience when you see the person needs it, etc. So happiness for yourself, I'm talking about happiness for ourselves, is in your head. It's an attitude. It's something what you can train. Still every day, like your body, your immune system, it is always attacked by something. And that is also with your happiness. You stand up, you have a good feeling, and everything is fine. You walk out the door, and there comes a person with a couple of questions that you say, oh gosh, you ruined my day. Don't. Because that this happens, at that moment you feel not happy. Right? But now your reaction on it. How long do you want to walk with that thing in your mind? That's the question. Well, you can have it turning in your head the whole day, or even days, or even weeks. Every time you think about the person and think about, again, what he said or did or whatever, doesn't help. That's also with things out of the past. Don't let it circulate in your head. Yes, there were shitty things in your life. We all have that. And sometimes we are in a mood that these things come up for whatever reason. We see something and then it reminds us to something that you say, oh gosh, that was terrible. Don't spend too much time on it. I'm not saying ignore it and hide it away and do like it never exists, because that's also not good. It exists, but that was in the past. It has no value today, at this moment. At this moment, your perception of the reality, your consciousness of, I want to be happy, and I want to see only things that make me happy, that make me feel good. That decision is yours. Yep. And a lot of people don't understand it. They go from impulse to impulse, and the impulses come by TV, by newspapers, what is left of it, and by social media, and there comes all that information, and a lot of negativity. When you look, I look sometimes, I investigate some world problem, because I'm not a person who looks to headlines and say, oh, that's it, because I know there is a lot behind there. And mostly another truth. Anyway, truth can have two sides. What the truth is for one can be the opposite for another. It has to do with culture, it has to do with perception, etc., etc. So what is that you can train yourself to see the positive side of things? Well, sometimes simply when you see something, you hear something and it's negative, and that you express that in words like, oh man, terrible, wow, sure. And you express a little bit of your emotion. And or you tell it to a friend, gosh, I read this and this and this and that and that and that. Terrible. And with that, you write it also off. You express your emotion. It's a relief of emotion. And it increases your happiness. Now this works in private life also, and also where you work. Happiness is not collecting all the negatives and all the negative input, yeah, and think you will be happy, because that will not work that way. But sometimes you have to make a choice to be happy and to stay happy. And that is when you're in a toxic situation. Now, toxic can be a relation, that can be a neighborhood, that can be a school, that can be work. Actually, everywhere where you come more often and you feel like it's toxic, it doesn't add to your happiness. Maybe it adds to your knowledge, but not to your happiness. And what is knowledge? It's more what you do with knowledge. But when you are not happy, you will not be creative. That's what I strongly believe. Creativity comes out of a relaxed mind, out of a happy mind, and sometimes also out of a mind that worries about things, but that doesn't affect your happiness. It's like you see things and you think, that should be different. That is that positive attitude inside. That should be different. How can I solve that? How can I make that better? It's also a challenge. Challenge on yourself, challenge on the information you have, the equipment you have, and that is an interesting thing, and it teases you, but it's a positive tease. And when you then say you have 10 steps to go and you are on step 3 and there is a little resistance and finally it works, that makes you happy. Something, yeah, that worked. Okay, next step. My approach is always this. Wherever I am, whatever I managed, small business, big business, I always say, step by step. It's much easier. Yeah? You can come with a whole story, but you can say, okay, the end goal is probably this, but let's see how we do it. What improvements we can make today or this week. And that is a step by step. And when that works, you say, yeah, that's another step. Great. And then before you can say, after you said it 3 times, the 4th time, the others will say, that's another step. And they have also that feeling like, we're doing it. We're creating it. We're making it. And we're improving it. And that creates that happiness and the positive attitude to do something, to make something. Because we all have talents. I strongly believe that we all have talents. I strongly believe also that a lot of the talents we have, especially little kids, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, going to schools, and it looks like they want to take all the creativity out. I remember I had a very good teacher in the 2nd class of my school. She came from Australia, showed us a koala bear, what was actually a thing where you could keep your teapot or coffee pot warm. That's how they made it, how she made it. But she showed me. I was almost in tears when I saw it, because you don't do that to an animal. I was very sensitive, but I was also a dreamer, and I'm still a dreamer. And we had a classroom which was terrible. I mean, there were only windows on 3-4 meters high. These classrooms, like, it was cubic, you know, like 8 meter by 8 meter by 8 meter high almost, and then up there some windows. So I was looking like the clouds. And then she says, Gerardo. And I say, yes, ma'am. What are you doing? And then I explained to her what I all saw in the clouds. And she always listened to me. And she told me later, when I meet her when I was older, she says, I always remember how you, with your creativity, saw everything in these clouds. And I saw nothing. But you saw so many things. That was so impressive. And I can say I survived school and never let them take my creativity away. I was never the person who says, okay, when it is that way, then it's that way. My question was always, why? How did it come? Etc., etc. I had always a lot of questions about everything. I didn't express it. I all put it in here. Kept it in my mind. And sometimes said things, but that gave often question marks like, why you question these things? You don't do that. We all know that environment, okay? This is how you dumb down kids. Take creativity away, but also take happiness away. Kids should believe in things, whatever it is. When kids come with a story to me and they believe it, I play the game with them. And you see how happy they become. Like, someone sees the same as me. And there they go, and it becomes bigger and bigger, the story. And that's fantastic. I really like that. It's so fantastic when you see that, how that works with kids. I can enjoy it when I see kids and they creating a world with their fantasies. It's so fantastic. And it creates happiness for them. That is clearly. And it's something that we all can do. And I have to check a little bit the time. Yeah, 13 minutes, okay. Can't see that, it's so small. And even with my glasses or without my glasses, I don't see it. Yeah, but, so I have 5 minutes more. Happiness we create in ourselves. It's an attitude. And when you have an attitude in the morning like, oh shit, another day, I have to go to work. Well, change your work. Change your work. Do something else. I know not all have that opportunity, okay? I'm very honest. And when you're 30 years in a business, to change to something else, that is not an easy decision. But we are there to assist you with that. Not to force you something, no, but that you start doing things where you believe in. I knew one time a guy who says, Gerardo, I make a lot of money, I'm in computer science, and great. My father had a welder, and he had a whole team, and I love to help him, and I'm not happy in my work. I said, well, why don't you start then a company and get a team together of welders, and you have a nice business, and you work together with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys. Keep it small then, and yes, you lose half of your income, and that's your choice. He waited 2 years, and then he did it, after he had a burnout and whatever. that is sometimes not easy. Let's be honest, it's not easy. And I feel for the person because, yeah, you're connected. Thank God he paid off his mortgage already. Okay, that was already done. And so because there are people who are stick to it with the mortgage and whatever. It's something like I can't change the job. I don't like it. I hate it. And I feel for those persons because you should leave toxic situations, relations, work, study, whatever. Change. Do what you like. Do where your views are, where your expectations are. Don't concentrate on money. All these people, I want to make a lot of money, are also poor. They're also poor with all their big money and even millions and billions. They are also poor because their happiness didn't increase. And happiness and feeling appreciated and doing the things you love, those are the real values in life. Forget the money. Really, forget the money. We all have to make an income. And yes, do we all want to have a big house? Well, not me. I don't want to have a big house. There's a lot to maintain. You need people to clean it up. Why should I have that? When you have people in your house, there goes your privacy. So, no, I don't need a big house. But there are certain people who always want to impress others and see me, what I'm doing. And, the thing of the American dream, what is always about only money. Does it give happiness? You hear these stories of these stars. They make millions and they're completely unhappy. They're all on the drugs and the pills and you name it, yeah, to survive all the tension in their life. They're not happy. So forget those things. If you want a good life, then look for happiness, but have also the appreciation for life. Let's see how it goes. And if you need support, give me a call.